A large Tampa car dealership abruptly closed its doors today, leaving already frustrated customers wondering what to do next.
2,400 car dealerships. Gone. Not struggling, not cutting staff. Gone. Doors locked, lots emptied, signs coming down, and it is happening right now, faster than anyone in this industry wants to admit out loud. The last time we saw numbers like this, the entire economy was on fire. Banks were collapsing. People were losing their homes. That was 2008. But here is the part that should stop you cold. The economy is not supposed to be collapsing right now. The stock market is moving. Consumer spending is up. The headlines say everything is fine. So why are nearly 2,500 dealerships disappearing from American streets in just 18 months? Because something is broken underneath the surface. And it is not just the dealerships paying the price. It is the people walking onto those lots. People financing trucks at $70,000. People signing 84-month loans on cars they cannot afford to insure. People who have no idea that the dealer handing them a pen might not even exist by the time they make their last payment. There is one specific type of dealership getting wiped out faster than everything else, and the cars they sell are already filling repo lots coast to coast. So here's the question nobody is asking. When 2,400 dealerships collapse, who actually wins? And more importantly, are you about to become the one who loses? 2,400 dealerships. That is the number we are talking about. Not a few struggling stores in forgotten towns. Not the normal churn of small businesses opening and closing every year. 2,400 franchised car dealerships, the kind with manufacturer agreements, massive lots, service departments, and finance offices, disappearing from the American landscape in an 18-month window. Let that land for a second. At peak, there were roughly 18,000 franchised dealerships operating across this country. We have already watched that number erode steadily for over a decade. But the pace of what is happening right now is different. This is not erosion. This is acceleration. The closures are not slowing down heading into 2026. They are speeding up. And nobody is talking about what that actually means for the person walking onto one of those lots right now. Here is why that matters beyond the obvious. A franchise dealership is not a small operation. These are businesses carrying millions of dollars in inventory at any given moment. Every single car sitting on that lot is financed. The dealer is paying interest on it every day it does not sell. That is called floor plan interest, and it never stops. The lot does not go quiet. The bills do not pause. The moment cars stop moving, the cost of holding them starts eating the business alive from the inside. That is the part nobody explains when they talk about dealership closures, like it is just a real estate story. This is a math problem. And the math stopped working. The same buyers who used to walk onto these lots and finance $28,000 family sedans cannot reach a $50,000 average transaction price. The approval pipeline slowed because interest rates exploded and never meaningfully came back down. Monthly payments crossed $1,000 on new vehicles, and a massive slice of the buying public simply stopped qualifying. The showroom traffic dried up. The inventory kept arriving because manufacturers kept building, and the floor plan interest kept running every single day. Connect that to 2.5 million repossessions already hitting American driveways, and the picture gets even darker. The buyers defaulting on loans they should never have been approved for are the exact same buyers who stopped walking into showrooms. The repossession crisis and the dealership collapse are not two separate stories. They are the same story told from two different angles. The collapse is not coming. It is already underway, and the direction it is heading is not improving. The question is not whether 2,400 dealerships will close. The question is, what happens to every single person still trying to buy a car while the walls come down around them? So what actually broke the franchise dealership model? It was not one thing hitting from one direction. It was three forces landing on the industry at the exact same time, with no room to absorb any of them. The first force is the price problem. The average new vehicle in America is now sitting at nearly $50,000. Not a luxury purchase, not a fully loaded truck, the average transaction. A decade ago, that number was closer to $28,000. The buyers who built this industry, working families, first-time buyers, and people who needed reliable transportation to get to work and get their kids to school, did not get $20,000 richer. The cars just got $20,000 more expensive, and the audience that franchise dealerships were built to serve quietly walked away. The second force is the interest rate squeeze. Rates exploded over the last few years and never meaningfully came back down. A $50,000 vehicle financed at today's rates puts monthly payments at $1,000 or more. For most American households, that is not a car payment. That is a second rent check. The approval pipeline slowed. Lenders tightened. Fewer buyers qualified. And the ones who did qualify started asking a question dealerships hate. Is this actually worth it? The third force is the one the headlines keep missing entirely. While franchise lots sit stagnant and floor plan interest eats their margins alive, a completely different part of the market is experiencing the exact opposite. Independent used dealers at the $5,000 and under price point are not struggling. They are selling out. During tax refund season, buyers show up with $3,500 to $7,000 in cash. They need transportation. They are not chasing a badge or a logo. One independent dealer sold 50 cars in 7 days. Not a month. 7 days. And they nearly ran out of inventory doing it. That is the market telling you exactly who has money right now and exactly what they are willing to spend it on. The buyers with real cash are not walking into franchise showrooms looking at $70,000 trucks. They are buying affordable, practical transportation from dealers moving fast enough to serve them. Same economy pressing down on everyone equally, completely opposite outcomes. The gap between those two worlds is not closing. It is widening every single month, and the franchise model has no answer for it. If you want to know exactly which cars to avoid during this collapse, I put together a free ebook called Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Depreciation data, reliability scores, the exact models mechanics see constantly. The link is in the description. Download it before you step foot on any lot. To understand why franchise dealerships are collapsing, you have to understand what they actually are. Because most people walk onto a lot and assume the dealer owns the business, controls the inventory, and sets the terms. They do not. Not really. A franchise dealership is more like a contractor. The manufacturer holds the contract. That contract comes with rules that do not bend, regardless of what the market is doing. Dealers do not choose what they sell. They are told what to take. The manufacturer decides the model mix, the allocation, the pricing structure, and increasingly what technology that dealership is required to invest in just to keep the franchise agreement alive. When those decisions line up with what buyers actually want, the system works. When they do not, the dealer pays the price. Not the manufacturer. The dealer. There was a moment during the chip shortage when this system looked brilliant. Inventory was scarce, demand was high, and dealers were marking vehicles up $10,000, $15,000 over sticker, and buyers were paying it because there was nothing else available. Dealers made money they had never seen before, and they made a mistake while doing it. They trained buyers to expect to be taken advantage of, and those buyers remembered. Now the leverage has flipped completely. Inventory is back. Buyers have options. And the ones who got burned during the shortage are not walking back through those doors without serious negotiation. The goodwill that took decades to build got spent in about 18 months of markup madness. Rebuilding it takes longer than most of these dealerships have left. Then, there is the electric vehicle problem sitting in the middle of all of this. Manufacturers are pushing electric vehicle inventory onto franchise dealers in markets that simply are not buying them. The mandate does not care about local demand. The allocation arrives. The dealer takes it. Now you have vehicles sitting on the lot for months collecting floor plan interest, while the manufacturer publicly announces its commitment to an electric future that the showroom floor cannot actually sell. And underneath all of it, the manufacturers themselves are watching this play out and drawing a very specific conclusion. Tesla does not have franchise dealers. Tesla sells directly. Every franchise dealership that closes quietly proves the same point. The middleman model is expensive, slow, and increasingly optional. Manufacturers are not going to say that out loud while the franchise system still exists. They do not need to. The closures say it for them. The franchise model was built for a world where the dealer controlled the information, the inventory, and the transaction from start to finish. That world is gone. The dealership that replaced it never fully figured out what it was supposed to be instead. While franchise lots are bleeding floor plan interest on unsold inventory, a completely different kind of dealer is running out of cars faster than they can replace them. Same economy, same interest rates, same financial pressure squeezing households from every direction. Completely different outcome. The difference is not luck. It is where they position themselves in the market and how fast they can move when the signal arrives. Independent used dealers operating at affordable price points are not experiencing a collapse. They are experiencing a surge. The ones doing it right are not winging it. They are running precise, fast operations that franchise dealerships with their manufacturer, mandates, and corporate timelines simply cannot replicate. Here is what that actually looks like in practice. When tax refund season hits and the market signals are right, a sharp independent dealer does not wait to see what happens. They go to auction and buy 21 cars in a single day. They raise their per-car spending threshold because they know the volume is coming and the window is short. They track every vehicle on a board from the moment it is purchased to the moment it is cleaned, photographed, and ready for sale. Every day in that pipeline costs money. Every delay is revenue that disappears. The dealers who understand that move with the sense of urgency that no franchise agreement ever required anyone to develop. The buyers showing up at these lots are not chasing a badge or trying to impress anyone. They have $3,500 to $7,000 in hand from tax refunds, and they need a car that works. A car to get to work. A car to get their kids to school. The transaction is practical, not emotional. That distinction protects everyone involved. The buyer does not overextend. The dealer moves inventory. Nobody ends up on a flatbed. The auction floor tells the whole story. While franchise dealers wait for showroom traffic to return, independent dealers are buying everything available before other dealers even realize the money has arrived. They know that the same car they buy for $2,000 today will cost $3,200 at auction in 10 days once everyone else catches on. So they move first. They buy now. They get the cars ready and put them in front of buyers who are already standing at the lot with cash. The survivors in this industry are not the biggest. They are the fastest, the most precise, and the most honest about who their buyer actually is. When a dealership closes, the inventory does not disappear. It gets absorbed. It is auctioned off, redistributed, and folded into surviving competitor lots across the region. When that happens, local supply compresses, prices spike temporarily, and the buyer who is already stretched thin walks into a market that just got harder to navigate without warning. That compression does not hit every segment equally. It lands hardest where the most expensive, most overfinanced vehicles are concentrated. And right now, that means trucks. The Ford F-150, the Chevy Silverado, the Ram pickup, these vehicles are already flooding repo lots at record rates. The same buyers who signed 84-month loans for $70,000 and convinced themselves the monthly payment was manageable are defaulting in numbers not seen since 2009. When the franchise dealers selling these trucks start closing, the used supply of these specific models surges at auction. Prices drop. The buyer who waited and came prepared with data instead of emotion suddenly has leverage they never had before. The luxury segment takes the hardest hit of all. BMW, Audi, and Mercedes franchise dealerships carry the highest operational costs in the entire industry. Their floor plan interest is brutal. Their customer base is the thinnest slice of a market that is already shrinking. These dealerships are disproportionately represented in the closure numbers, and that should tell you something real about what those badges actually cost to support at the retail level. The Nissan situation is its own category of trouble. With subprime repossession rates already at crisis levels and the second chance lending pipeline under serious scrutiny, Nissan franchise dealers are facing a volume problem and a reputation problem hitting at exactly the same moment. Here is the part that catches most buyers completely off guard. When a dealership closes, the loan does not close with it. The financing agreement belongs to the lender. The car payment keeps coming. The dealer just stops being there to answer the phone. And for buyers already stretched to the edge, losing that local support structure is not a minor inconvenience. It is the thing that pushes a difficult situation into an impossible one. Here is the part that actually matters for anyone who needs to buy a car in the next 12 to 18 months. Because everything we have covered so far is not just industry news. It is a set of conditions that directly change what happens the moment you walk onto a lot. The first thing to understand is that leverage has shifted. Dealers who are fighting to survive need volume. They need transactions. And a buyer who walks in prepared, with real numbers already calculated, has more negotiating power right now than at any point in recent memory. But do not confuse dealer desperation with buyer safety. A desperate dealer will still put you in a bad loan. The vehicle and the financing are two completely separate decisions, and they need to be treated that way every single time. The monthly payment trap is more dangerous right now than ever. Dealers running scared will stretch your loan to 84 months, sometimes longer, just to make the number on paper look survivable. What they will not tell you is that you will be paying off a car that lost 40% of its value years before you make your final payment. That is not transportation. That is a financial anchor tied around the next decade of your life. Run every number before you sit down. What does insurance cost on that specific vehicle? What does fuel actually cost monthly based on real consumption? What does the maintenance history on that model look like? What does depreciation do to its value in 3 years? The dealership already ran those numbers in their favor. Your job is to run them in yours. If you are arriving with tax refund cash, that is real leverage, but only if you stay in the right price range. The moment you stretch that cash to reach a financed vehicle at the edge of what you qualify for, the refund stops being a tool and starts being a trap. The lot is full of buyers who made exactly that mistake last year. Most of them do not have that car anymore. When the market is unstable, the car you choose becomes more important than ever. Not because of how it looks, not because of what it says about you, because of what it does to your financial position every single month you own it. The vehicles that protect buyers during a collapsing market are the same ones that kept people off flatbeds when repossessions hit 2.5 million. That is not a coincidence. It is the same principle working in both directions. Equity protects you. Depreciation destroys you. And when dealerships are closing and the market is compressing, that gap between the two widens faster than most people expect. The Toyota ecosystem wins again in this environment. The RAV4 Hybrid, the Corolla Hybrid, the Tacoma, and the Prius make the list. These vehicles hold value regardless of what the dealership market does around them. If something goes wrong financially, you have options. You can sell, you can trade. You are never trapped underwater with no exit. That is not a small thing. In an unstable market, that is everything. The Lexus ES and Mazda CX-5 make the same argument from a different angle. You do not need a franchise dealership to keep these vehicles running properly. Independent service can handle them without the luxury repair bills that sink BMW and Audi buyers. When local dealerships start disappearing and your nearest service department is suddenly 2 hours away, that matters in ways most buyers never think about until it is already a problem. Then there is the truck question. The F-150 and Silverado at $70,000 price points become even more dangerous as dealer desperation pushes aggressive financing onto buyers who are not positioned for it. The truck that was already unaffordable gets worse when the dealer financing it is fighting to survive. The people who will navigate this collapse without getting hurt are the same people who never got repossessed. They bought transportation. They calculated ownership cost. They chose equity over appearance. That mindset does not just keep you off a flatbed. In a market falling apart around you, it keeps you standing when everyone else is losing their footing. Here is where everything we covered today comes into sharp focus. 2,400 dealerships are closing. Floor plan interest is eating franchises alive. Manufacturers are pushing inventory onto dealers in markets that cannot absorb it. Buyers are being priced out of new vehicles entirely. Repossessions are at levels not seen since the financial crisis was swallowing everything in sight. These are not separate problems happening in separate corners of the industry. They are the same problem, moving in the same direction, accelerating toward the same outcome. The collapse is not falling equally. It is landing hardest on the franchises selling the most expensive, most over-financed vehicles to the most financially stretched buyers. The same $70,000 trucks are already filling repo lots. The same entry-level luxury badges are being financed by buyers whose credit cannot survive the first unexpected repair bill. The same subprime pipelines are approving people who never had a realistic path to making those payments work. Different cars, different buyers, one destination. But the other side of this story is just as clear. The dealers surviving are the ones who position themselves where real buyers with real money actually are. The buyers navigating this without getting hurt are the ones who walked in with a plan instead of a feeling. The vehicles holding their value through all of it are the ones that were never about appearances in the first place. The outcome is not random. It never was. The dealership that handed you a pen without explaining what you were signing is closing. The loan does not close with it. That obligation stays with you long after the lot goes dark and the signs come down. Long after the manufacturer reassigns the franchise and the building gets repurposed into something else entirely. The payment does not care about any of that. It just keeps showing up. Before you step foot on any lot, download the free ebook, Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Depreciation charts show exactly which vehicles hold value and which ones crater. Reliability data is pulled from actual owners. The specific models mechanics see on their lifts week after week are listed. The link is in the description. Download it, read it, then go negotiate. The repo man is busy enough already. Do not make his job any easier.